Mia's hands trembled as she stared at the man across the conference table. The same piercing eyes that had haunted her dreams for 5 years. Jamin's jaw tightened as recognition flashed across his face, but before either could speak, a small voice echoed from the doorway. "Mommy, we're hungry." 2 identical little girls stood there, and when Jamin saw their faces, his face, the room went deadly silent. The glass in his hand shattered. If you want to know what happens next, subscribe now, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of this emotional roller coaster. Mia Carter stepped off the plane at Incheon Airport with her heart pounding against her ribs. Seoul, the city where everything had changed 5 years ago. She glanced down at her twin daughters, Arya and Hannah, their curious brown eyes taking in the bustling airport. "Mommy, is this where you went to school?" Arya asked, tugging at her sleeve. Mia forced a smile, pushing down the memories of him. The man whose touch still burned in her memory, the man she'd run from when she discovered she was pregnant. She'd built a whole life in Los Angeles, raised her girls alone, and convinced herself she'd never have to face that night again. But life had other plans. The luxury hotel project was too big to refuse, and now here she was, about to meet with the Kong Corporation. As their car pulled up to the sleek glass building downtown, Mia's stomach twisted. She'd researched the company. Powerful, influential, with whispers of connections that made her uneasy. But nothing could have prepared her for what happened next. The elevator doors opened to the executive floor, and there, standing in a perfectly tailored black suit with an expression carved from ice, was him. Kong Jae-min. Their eyes locked, and the world stopped. His face went pale, lips parting in shock, and Mia realized with horror. The father of her children wasn't just some man she'd met in a bar. He was the CEO, and judging by the dangerous look in his eyes, he had no idea he was a father. Jamin couldn't breathe. The woman standing before him was impossible. A ghost from 5 years ago, the only person who'd ever made him feel something real. "Mia," he whispered, her name tasting like a prayer and a curse on his lips. She looked even more beautiful than he remembered, but there was something different in her eyes now, fear. His assistant spoke beside him, introducing her as the event coordinator from Los Angeles, but Jamin barely heard the words. All he could see was the way her hands trembled, the way she avoided his gaze. "We've met before," he said coldly, watching her flinch. The room fell silent. His business partners shifted uncomfortably, but Jamin didn't care. For 5 years, he'd searched for her, sent people across Seoul looking for the woman who'd vanished from his hotel room without a trace. And now she was here, in his building, acting like they were strangers. I don't think so," Mia stammered, her voice barely steady. But Jamin moved closer, his presence overwhelming, and she felt like she was drowning all over again. "Don't lie to me," he said quietly, his voice dangerously soft. "The Grand Hyatt, room 1504. You left before sunrise." Mia's heart stopped. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed. A text from the hotel babysitter with a photo of Arya and Hannah eating lunch. Jamin's eyes flickered to her screen, and Mia watched in horror as his entire body went rigid. "Who are they?" he demanded, grabbing her wrist gently but firmly. The photo showed 2 little girls with dark hair, bright smiles, and unmistakably Korean features. His features. Mia pulled away, her voice breaking. "They're none of your business." But as she rushed toward the elevator, Jamin's words echoed behind her like thunder. "I will find out everything, Mia. And when I do, you'll wish you'd told me the truth." Mia barely made it back to her hotel room before her knees gave out. She slumped against the door, her heart racing as Arya and Hannah ran to hug her. "Mommy, you're shaking," Hannah said, her little face filled with concern. Mia pulled them close, breathing in their sweet scent, trying to calm the panic rising in her chest. How could she have been so stupid? She should have researched the CEO, should have known it might be him. Seoul was big, but not big enough to hide from a man like Jamin. Her phone buzzed, an unknown number. She stared at it, knowing exactly who it was before she even opened the message. "We need to talk. Tonight. I'll send a car at 8 p.m. Don't make me come find you." Mia's hands shook as she typed back. "I have nothing to say to you." His response was instant. "Then I'll say it all. See you at 8. At exactly 8 p.m., a sleek black car pulled up outside her hotel. Mia had arranged for the hotel's childcare service to watch the girls, her heart breaking at their disappointed faces. The drive took her to a private penthouse overlooking the Han River. Beautiful, cold, and intimidating, just like the man waiting inside. Jamin stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, a glass of whiskey in his hand. When he turned to face her, His expression was unreadable. 5 years, Mia. 5 years I've wondered what I did wrong that night to make you disappear. His voice was low, controlled, but she could hear the pain underneath. You didn't do anything wrong, she whispered. Then why? He stepped closer, and she could smell his cologne, the same one from that night. Why did you run? And why? His voice cracked slightly. Do those little girls have my eyes? The silence between them was deafening. Mia felt tears burning behind her eyes as Jamin waited, his jaw clenched so tight she thought it might break. They're mine, aren't they? He said, his voice barely above a whisper. When Mia didn't answer, he slammed his glass down on the table, making her jump. Aren't they? The rawness in his voice shattered something inside her. Yes, she whispered, tears finally spilling down her cheeks. Arya and Hannah are your daughters. Jamin staggered backward like she'd physically struck him. His hand went to his chest, his breathing ragged. For a moment, she thought he might collapse. Daughters, he repeated, the word foreign on his tongue. I have daughters. And you kept them from me for 5 years. The pain in his eyes transformed into something darker. Betrayal, rage, and heartbreak all twisted together. You don't understand, Mia said desperately, stepping toward him. That morning you were gone. I woke up alone with just a note that said business emergency. I was terrified, pregnant in a foreign country with no way to contact you. You left me. Jamin's eyes widened. I left you my card. I put it in your purse with a note begging you to call me. Mia froze, her mind racing back to that morning. Her purse. She'd been so panicked, so hurt. She'd thrown everything away at the airport, too heartbroken to look through it. I never saw it, she breathed. They stared at each other, the weight of 5 years of misunderstanding crushing them both. Jamin's phone suddenly buzzed, and his expression shifted to something cold and dangerous. We're not done here, he said, his voice like steel. Those are my children, Mia. And starting tomorrow, everything changes. I'm not asking for permission. I'm taking what's mine. Mia didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed watching Arya and Hannah sleep peacefully, their little faces so innocent, so unaware that their world was about to turn upside down. At 6 a.m., there was a knock at her hotel door. She opened it to find Jamin standing there with 2 expensive shopping bags and an expression that broke her heart. He looked like he hadn't slept either, his eyes red-rimmed but determined. I want to meet them, he said simply. Properly. Mia's protective instincts flared. Jamin, you can't just... I've missed 5 years, Mia. 5 birthdays, 5 Christmases, their first words, their first steps. Don't ask me to wait another second. His voice cracked, and she saw the vulnerability beneath his controlled exterior. She'd never seen him like this, raw, desperate, and completely terrified. After a long moment, she stepped aside and let him in. When Arya and Hannah woke up and wandered into the living room, they froze at the sight of the tall, handsome stranger sitting awkwardly on their couch. Girls, Mia said, her voice shaking. This is Jamin. I'm your father, Jamin interrupted gently, and Mia watched as tears slid down his face. Arya and Hannah looked at each other, then at their mother, confusion written all over their little faces. Our daddy, Hannah whispered. But Mommy said our daddy lived far away and couldn't find us. Jamin's eyes snapped to Mia, something painful flashing across his face, but then Arya stepped forward cautiously. Do you want to be our daddy now? She asked in her small voice. Jamin dropped to his knees, bringing himself to their level, and nodded. More than anything in the world, he whispered. But as the girls hesitantly moved closer to him, Mia's phone rang, Jamin's assistant with a chilling message. Ma'am, you and Mr. Kong need to return to the office immediately. His family has found out about the children, and they're not happy. The Kong family estate was nothing like Mia had imagined. It was a fortress. As their car pulled through the iron gates, Mia clutched Arya and Hannah closer, her heart hammering in her chest. Jamin sat rigid beside her, his hand finding hers in a gesture that was both comforting and possessive. Whatever happens in there, stay close to me, he murmured. My family can be difficult. That was an understatement. The moment they entered the grand hall, an elegant older woman in a designer hanbok stood waiting, her expression like carved ice. So, Jamin's mother said, her eyes scanning Mia with barely concealed disdain. This is the American girl who thinks she can trap my son with illegitimate children. Mia felt the words like a slap, but before she could respond, Jamin stepped forward, his voice deadly calm. Mother, choose your next words very carefully. These are your granddaughters, and Mia is the woman I never stopped searching for. The room erupted. Jamin's father emerged from the study, his presence commanding and cold. 2 other men followed, His brothers, Mia realized, both watching her like predators sizing up prey. You brought her here? With those children, his father thundered. Do you have any idea what this could do to our reputation? To our business? But it was what he said next that made Mia's blood run cold. We've already had our people investigate her. She's nobody. A single mother with debt, no family connections, no status. For all we know, those children aren't even yours. Jamin's entire body went rigid, and Mia saw something dangerous flash in his eyes. Father, I'm warning you. But his mother interrupted, her voice syrupy sweet with venom. Of course, we'll need DNA tests to confirm. And if they are your children, Jamin, we'll discuss proper arrangements. The girls can stay with us, be raised properly in our world. As for her, she looked at Mia with contempt. We'll compensate her generously for her services and send her back to America where she belongs. Mia felt her world shattering, but then Jamin's voice cut through the room like a blade. If you think I'm letting Mia or my daughters out of my sight, you're all insane. And if anyone tries to take them from me, family or not, you'll see exactly how ruthless I can be. The tension in the room was suffocating. Jamin's father stepped forward, his voice low and threatening. You would turn your back on this family? On everything we've built? For some woman you spent one night with. Jamin's laugh was bitter and cold. One night that gave me more happiness than this family ever has. One night that gave me 2 beautiful daughters. He turned to face his parents, and Mia saw a side of him she'd never witnessed. Powerful, unwavering, and absolutely terrifying in his conviction. I'm taking them home. My home. And if any of you try to interfere, I'll make sure every secret this family has buried comes to light. His mother gasped, but his father's eyes narrowed dangerously. You're making a mistake, Jamin. That woman will destroy you. Jamin grabbed Mia's hand and pulled her and the girls toward the door, but not before saying words that echoed through the hall. She already did, 5 years ago when she left. And I've been destroyed ever since. At least now I have a chance to rebuild. In the car ride back, the silence was heavy. Arya and Hannah had fallen asleep against Mia, exhausted from the emotional day. Jamin stared out the window, his jaw tight, and Mia could see the weight of what he'd just done crushing down on him. Jamin, she whispered, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to choose us over your family. He turned to her then, and the look in his eyes made her breath catch. It was vulnerable, scared, and desperately hopeful all at once. Yes, I did, he said softly. Because 5 years ago, I fell in love with you in one night, Mia. And I've been half alive ever since you disappeared. I'm not losing you again. I'm not losing them. Mia's heart cracked open. Jamin, but her words were cut off by his phone ringing. He answered, his expression darkening with each passing second. When he hung up, his voice was hollow. That was my head of security. Someone's been following you since you arrived in Seoul. And they just tried to break into your hotel room. Jamin's penthouse became their fortress that night. He'd insisted they stay with him, and Mia was too terrified to argue. As his security team swept the rooms and installed additional cameras, Mia watched Jamin pace like a caged tiger, his phone pressed to his ear as he barked orders in rapid Korean. When he finally hung up, his expression was grim. My people are investigating, but until we know who's behind this, you 3 aren't leaving my sight. He knelt down to where Arya and Hannah sat on the couch, their eyes wide with fear. I promise you, he said gently, touching each of their faces. No one will hurt you. Daddy's here now. The word daddy came so naturally from his lips, and watching him with their daughters, Mia felt something shift in her chest. Something terrifying and beautiful all at once. Maybe, just maybe, they could actually be a family. That night, after the girls fell asleep in the guest room, Mia found Jamin standing on the balcony, the city lights glittering below. She joined him silently, and for a long moment neither spoke. I'm scared, she finally admitted. Not just of whoever's out there, but of this, of us. Of hoping for something that might fall apart. Jamin turned to her, and slowly, carefully, he reached up to cup her face. I'm terrified too, he whispered. I'm terrified that I'll fail you again. That I won't be good enough for them, for you. But Mia, I meant what I said. I loved you from that first night, and seeing you with our daughters, seeing the incredible mother you are. His voice broke. I'm falling even harder. Their faces were inches apart, the air between them electric. Jamin, she breathed, and then his lips were on hers, soft and desperate and full of 5 years of longing. But just as she melted into him, an explosion of shattering glass erupted from inside the penthouse, and a woman's scream pierced the night. Someone had gotten past security, and they were inside with the twins. Jamin and Mia burst through the penthouse doors, their hearts racing. But what they found wasn't a dangerous intruder. It was a woman in an elegant dress, standing in the middle of the broken vase she'd knocked over, her face streaked with tears. "Salmon," Jamin breathed, his voice filled with shock. The woman, beautiful, polished, and trembling, looked up at him with desperate eyes. "I'm sorry, Jamin. I had to see you. I had to know if it was true." Mia's stomach dropped as she recognized the look in the woman's eyes. Love, obsession, and heartbreak all mixed together. "Who is she?" Mia asked quietly. Jamin's jaw tightened. "Park Salmon. My ex-fiancé." The words hit Mia like a freight train. Fiancé. He'd been engaged. Salmon stepped forward, her eyes now fixed on Mia with barely contained hatred. "So you're the one. The American who ruined everything. We were supposed to be married last year, but he called it off. He said he couldn't marry me because his heart belonged to someone else, a ghost he couldn't forget." Mia felt like the ground was crumbling beneath her feet. "Jamin, you never told me." But Salmon cut her off with a bitter laugh. "Of course he didn't tell you. Just like he didn't tell you that our families have been partners for generations. Just like he didn't tell you that by choosing you, he started a war." She turned back to Jamin, tears streaming down her face. "My father is furious. Your rejection humiliated our entire family. And now, with these children, he's planning something, Jamin. He wants to destroy you, and he'll use them to do it." Jamin moved protectively toward the bedroom where Arya and Hannah slept. "Tell your father if he comes near my family, I'll bury him." Salmon's face crumpled. "I still love you," she whispered brokenly. "Even after everything, I still love you. But you look at her the way you never looked at me." She glanced at Mia, and for a moment, there was something almost pitying in her expression. "Be careful," she said softly. "Love in our world is dangerous. And the people who want to hurt Jamin will come for what he loves most." As security escorted Salmon out, Jamin pulled Mia into his arms, but she felt numb. How many more secrets was he hiding? And as his phone buzzed with an urgent message, his face went white. "They have photos of the girls. And they're threatening to go public with a scandal that will destroy everything, unless you give them up." Mia pulled away from Jamin, her heart shattering into a million pieces. "Give them up? What does that mean?" Her voice was shaking, and she could feel panic rising in her throat. Jamin's hands trembled as he showed her the message. Photos of Arya and Hannah at the park, at the hotel, even at his family's estate. Someone had been watching them the entire time. "They want me to publicly deny the girls are mine," Jamin said, his voice hollow. "They want me to pay you off and send you back to America, make it look like you were trying to trap me. If I don't, they'll release a story claiming the girls are illegitimate, that you're a gold digger, and they'll drag your name, and the girls' names, through every media outlet in Korea." Mia felt sick. She looked toward the bedroom where her babies slept, so innocent, so unaware of the storm surrounding them. "Then we do it," she whispered. "We take their money and leave. I won't let my daughters grow up in this nightmare." "No." Jamin's voice was firm, and when she looked up, she saw something fierce burning in his eyes. "I'm not losing you again, Mia. I'm not letting them win." He pulled her close, his forehead resting against hers. "I have another plan, but it's risky. And I need to know, do you trust me?" Mia's breath caught. Trust. That word carried so much weight. She'd trusted him once, 5 years ago, and woke up alone. But looking into his eyes now, seeing the desperation and love there, she realized something. He'd been searching for her just as hard as she'd been running. "I trust you," she whispered. Jamin kissed her then, deep and passionate, pouring 5 years of longing into that single moment. When he pulled back, his voice was steady. "Tomorrow, we're holding a press conference. We're telling the truth, all of it. About us, about the girls, about how we found each other again. We take away their power by controlling the narrative ourselves." Mia's eyes widened. "Jamin, that's insane. Your family, your business partners. Let them come," he said with a dangerous smile. "I'm done hiding. I'm done being controlled. It's time everyone knows that Kong Jamin has a family, and I'll burn down anyone who threatens them." But as they stood there, holding each other, neither noticed the figure watching from the building across the street, or the gun being loaded in the shadows. The conference room was packed with reporters, cameras flashing like lightning as Jamin walked in holding Mia's hand, with Arya and Hannah on either side of them. The room fell silent, every eye fixed on the powerful CEO and the beautiful Black American woman beside him. Mia's heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst, but when Jamin squeezed her hand, she found strength she didn't know she had. "Thank you all for coming," Jamin began, his voice calm and commanding. "I've called this conference to introduce you to the most important people in my life, my daughters, Arya and Hannah, and their mother, Mia Carter, the woman I love. The room exploded with questions, cameras clicking frantically, but Jaemin continued. 5 years ago, Mia and I met in Seoul. It was brief, it was unexpected, but it changed my life forever. Due to circumstances and miscommunication, we were separated. Mia returned to America not knowing how to reach me, and I searched for her desperately. She raised our daughters alone with courage and grace that humbles me every single day. Mia watched tears glisten in Jaemin's eyes as he looked down at Arya and Hannah, who clung to his legs nervously. I've missed 5 years of their lives, and that's something I can never get back. But I'm here now, and I'm asking publicly, Mia Carter, will you give me the chance to be the father our daughters deserve? Will you give us a chance to be the family we were always meant to be? The room went silent, every reporter holding their breath. Mia felt tears streaming down her face as she looked at this man who'd chosen them over everything. His family's approval, his reputation, his empire. Yes, she whispered, and then louder, yes, Jaemin. 1,000 times yes. The room erupted in applause, cameras flashing, and Jaemin pulled her into a kiss that made the world disappear. But in the back of the room, a security guard's radio crackled urgently. Jaemin's head of security rushed forward, his face pale with terror, and whispered something that made Jaemin's blood run cold. He grabbed Mia and the girls, his voice urgent. We need to leave. Now. Salman's father just walked into the building, and he's not alone. Jaemin's security team surrounded them as they rushed toward the private exit, but they were too late. Park Salman's father stood blocking the hallway with 6 men behind him, his face twisted with rage. Did you really think you could humiliate my family and walk away, Jaemin? He snarled. Mia clutched Arya and Hannah close, her heart racing as Jaemin stepped protectively in front of them. This is between us, Park. Let them go. The old man laughed coldly. Let them go? These children, this woman, they're the reason you destroyed my daughter. Salman loved you, and you threw her away for some American nobody. His eyes locked onto Mia with pure hatred. You've taken everything from us. Now I'll take everything from you. Jaemin's voice dropped to something deadly. If you touch them, I'll destroy your entire empire. Every illegal deal, every buried secret, I'll expose it all. Mr. Park's face went red with fury, and for a terrifying moment, Mia thought violence would erupt. But then Salman herself appeared, her face streaked with tears. Father, stop. Please. She looked at Jaemin with broken eyes. Let them go. He never loved me, I see that now. And forcing him won't change it. The standoff felt like it lasted forever, tension crackling in the air like electricity. Finally, Mr. Park stepped aside, but his parting words were ice. This isn't over, Jaemin. You've made powerful enemies today. Watch your back, because I'll be waiting for the moment you slip. As they rushed out to the waiting car, Mia's hands wouldn't stop shaking. They'd barely escaped, but she knew this was just the beginning. Once they reached the safety of Jaemin's penthouse, he pulled her into his arms, holding her and the girls like he'd never let go. We're leaving Korea, he said firmly. Tonight. I have a private estate in Jeju Island where we'll be safe while I figure this out. But as Mia nodded, her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Her blood turned to ice as she read it. Congratulations on your happy family, Mia. But did Jaemin tell you the real reason he's been searching for you all these years? Ask him about the inheritance clause. Ask him about the will. Ask him why he needs you and those girls. Then decide if his love is real, or if you've all been pawns in a game you never understood. Sleep well if you can. A friend. Mia's hands trembled as she looked up at Jaemin, who was playing with the girls, his smile so genuine and loving. But doubt crept into her heart like poison. Jaemin, she said quietly, her voice breaking. What inheritance clause? The way his face went pale told her everything. He'd been keeping another secret, maybe the biggest one of all. What? Has he been using her this whole time? Is his love real, or was it all a lie? Comment your thoughts. Was Jaemin telling the truth about his love, or is there a darker reason he needs Mia and the twins? Like, share, and subscribe for part 2 where all secrets will be revealed. Don't miss it.